Well, the cold weather may have disrupted sport here this weekend, but down in New Zealand there's been a nice warm breeze for the start of the third leg of the Whitbread Round the World Yacht Race. They've now covered half of the 27,000-mile course, and on Saturday they set sail for South America on what's considered to be the most hazardous stretch. Bob Whittaker now reports.
Auckland, a city under full sail, 7,000 boats, a floating armada of spectators encircling the Whitbread 15, desperate to get a close-up of their favourite sailing heroes. On the yachts themselves, the crews had their hands full trying to avoid colliding with them as they manoeuvred into the best position for the start of the race. Safe on dry land, thousands more hugged the shoreline. A few hundred spectators had a real bird's-eye view from a fleet of assorted aircraft, but some spectators were just a bit too enthusiastic.
The spectator craft, unfortunately, are getting in the way completely. It's not very good of them, and we're having to ask a few to please move out.
5, 4, the gun to be fired by the Prime Minister of New Zealand. The cannon echoes around North Head. There's a tremendous cheer from the thousands thronging around the waterfront. And the third leg of the fourth...
New Zealand's answer to David Coleman, graphically describing the start. Yachting is one of the country's biggest sports, of course, and the skippers are looked on as national heroes.
Well, we're just plugging along after a fairly bad start. We seem to be doing okay now, doing perhaps a little better than holding our own at the moment, over.
We're going to have, obviously, very variable conditions as far as we'll have the odd gale, we hope. We'll have, light patches, and the present time off Cape Horn right at this moment, I believe it's bright, fine and sunny and very warm, with very little sea at all. So maybe we're in for a lightish run, but the seasons are about to change. We've got the equinox coming on, and I think, we'll be prepared just about for anything, really.
British interest in yachting has increased somewhat because of a certain pop star who's joined the race, on board his own boat, Drum.
Yeah, there's people around here, a lot of noise. We're just trying to keep our cool and make sure we concentrate on sailing the boat as fast as we can. We're looking forward to Uruguay now.
But for Simon Le Bon and the rest of his shipmates, Uruguay is a long, long way off. 6,000 miles, a month through some of the world's toughest oceans, and a trip around Cape Horn, the roughest of them all. After Uruguay, the final leg, a 6,500-mile journey back home to Portsmouth. They'll arrive in May. Only one yacht will be first across the line, but all 15 will have shared the glory of going round the world.
Remarkable scenes there in New Zealand. That's Bob Whittaker reporting for us. We'll keep you in touch with the Round the World Yacht Race. I think they deserve a prize just for getting past the spectator boats. It's 7 minutes to...
I'll be back at the end of the programme with the news headlines. Thank you, Sue. Now, in just over 12 hours' time, the yachts in the Whitbread Round the World Race set off on their third leg from Auckland in New Zealand. The race started in September last year when the boats left Portsmouth on the first leg of the 8-month ordeal. And it won't be until May when the first boats return to cross the finish line. This third leg is perhaps one of the most dangerous, for the boats have to face the notorious seas off Cape Horn on their way to Uruguay. In a moment we'll be talking to 4 school children who've been following the race since the very beginning. But first we're going now live to Simon Le Bon in New Zealand. He'll be sailing this leg on board his yacht Drum. Now let's see if he's there. Good morning, Simon.
Hello, is that Debbie?
It is. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, and if anybody at the BBC ever refers to Le Bon Voyage again, I'll switch over and watch the ITV.
OK, point taken. Now listen, are you going to have a bon voyage? I'll say it once more.
Oh dear, I'm really looking forward to it, yes. Absolutely.
It's a bit of an unromantic Valentine's Day for you, isn't it? Because you're leaving your new wife behind to set off.
Yeah, I tried to pack her in my suitcase, but I just didn't have enough room, and I couldn't find a plastic bag big enough to fit her in.
Now, you had a terrible experience last year when Drum overturned. Have you done much sailing in preparation since then?
Well, I've been on the boat as much as I possibly could. I mean, sailing a maxi boat's very different from any other kind of sailing. It's a bit like, I don't know, it's a very industrial machine, really. It's got more in common with a fishing boat, an old sailing fishing boat, than a dinghy, which is how I learned to sail. So I've been doing as much practice as possible, but I'm not scared.
You're not scared, not one bit?
No, I'm not.
Now, listen, I've got a young lady here who's very anxious to speak to you. She's Victoria Payne, and she's been following your progress quite closely, or the progress of Trum. Would you like to speak to Simon,
Hello,
Victoria?
Hello?
Hello, good morning, how are you?
Okay.
And what would you like to ask Simon?
What do you think the weather's going to be like going round Cape Horn?
What's the weather going to be like?
Yeah.
Well, I hope it's better than it is in England at the moment.
No,
it's a very funny thing, you know. Cape Horn is notorious because the weather there is extremely changeable. You know, you can be sailing along in bright sunshine, see a couple of clouds come up, and in half an hour you're sitting there in the big gale. So basically you go around and keep your fingers crossed and the hatches battened down.
Perhaps you should tell Simon a little bit about what you've been doing in school, Victoria, how you've been following him.
At school we're in groups. There's 15 groups and we've all adopted a boat, and we got your boat, and we've been following up on all where you've been and what's happened and if you've had any bad injuries to the boat or anybody's been hurt.
Right. Well, how do you think we're doing so far?
Well, we thought you were doing quite well.
Yeah, have you got any advice for us?
Not really, no.
No? Just go as fast as we can, eh?
Yeah.
When are we going to see you back, Simon? When are you due back?
Well, I mean, it depends how fast the boat goes, really. We'll be stopping off in Punta del Este in Uruguay, which is the third stop of the race. That'll be around March. I'll be popping over to England then, because I've got some more work to do, and then going back to Uruguay to meet the boat again. And hopefully we'll be arriving in England sometime around the end of the first week in May.
Okay, Simon, we have Victoria, Matthew and Robert, also from the same school, and I'm wondering if any of the boys have a question for you.
Hi, guys.
What jobs will we be doing on board?
What jobs? Oh, basically, because it's such a long race, we get the chance to move around. Otherwise, you get really quite bored if you're just pulling on the same piece of string for a whole month. So I'll be working up on the foredeck, on the bow. I'll be working by the mast, and then I'll probably do some grinding, which is the real sort of just the pure guerrilla work, and some trimming. That means looking after the sails, and I'll be driving the boat as well on the wheel.
So it's going to be quite busy.
And there's also the washing up to be done.
Are you good at that, Simon? Are you good at joining in with that sort of thing?
I'm very good at washing up. I trained for 6 months when I was studying for my A-levels in a restaurant.
So you're good on that. Robert, have you got a question for Simon?
If you have a bad accident, will you retire from the race or will you carry on?
Well, it depends just how bad the accident is. I mean, I think you may know that what happened to Atlantic Privateer on the first leg, the American boat. They broke their mast. Now, if you do something, that's a very serious thing. Now, you can jury rig it, which means you can improvise and use things like the spinnaker poles and the boom or whatever's left to make a mast and sort of tie sails on sideways or cut them and make them smaller, but you don't go very fast. Or you can pull into port somewhere and get a new mast fitted. What they did was they went into Luderitz, which is on the west coast of Africa, just north of Cape Town, and they had a steam pipe welded inside the old mast, and they went off hoping that would stand up and take them down to Cape Town. But what happened there was they ran into another squall, and that broke the new mast that they had. So what they actually did, and which actually put them out of the race, is they switched their engine on. But they'll be doing the next leg of the race, and I think all the boats would not retire from the Whitbread race as a whole if they had the chance to carry on. Okay, they might blow a leg and thereby blow their chances of actually winning a prize.
Simon,
but they want to carry on with the race.
We wish you well, and I think Victoria Halliwell would just like to say good luck to Simon.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thanks a lot, Victoria, and good luck to you too. Take care, guys.
We'll be following you and rooting for you. Thank you for joining us this morning, Simon. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot, Debbie.
Bye-bye. What's that mean?
4 cracking youngsters from Rochdale. Now, that if you're searching for words to express your Valentine message today,